Hey everyone, happy Sunday. So I went to the restaurant, which I don't go to, as much as I used to, just because of like all the styrofoam and all the waste and everything. And plus, it's an expenditure, and right now I don't have a ton of money, discretionary spending to go to like stuff like that. So I basically don't go out to eat, nearly as much as I used to. So it's been a hot minute since I've been out there. So figured I would go in there. Me and my girlfriend went out there and just went to kind of go be normal, I guess. So we went there and did not feel normal, at all. So it's just the further this goes along, the less and less I feel like like I'm obviously from here, but the more like alien I feel, the longer this goes on. And no, I'm not an alien. I am exactly who I said I am. But I feel alien, to this, you know, this vessel, this place, right? Essentially, like a spiritual being having a human existence. So it's different. But I went there, like I said, I had problems with like the waste and the styrofoam and the plastic and all that, so I try not to go. But I went, right, just to go. Mellow Mushroom, it's a little place here in town, that I'm used to. They have a vegan pizza, so I know it's full of calories and I'm sure it's full of fat, and it's not good for me, especially since I'm not really in the gym anymore. But my hip feels a lot better. So ever since I got out of the gym, my hip feels good. My hip is good, my back is good. So apparently there were some pride issues there, and for whatever reason, God decided to give me some hip troubles because of it. But now that I'm out of the gym, you know, everything is everything is good now. So I guess it was pride. I'm not sure. Maybe I spent too much time in the mirror. But so that's good. I went there and just felt totally awkward. Like Mellow Mushroom, it's like a I don't know how you describe it. Like a more of like a hip location. They got like cool artwork on the walls and trippy stuff and like mushrooms and stuff like that. So is it frequented by people who do like psychedelics or like to smoke weed? I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like more of like a fun, hippie type place. And they have a nice vegan pizza and they got vegan options there, which is good. So we went there and sat there. And, as soon as I got there, um, well, oddly enough, I'll tell you this. Like, oddly enough, like I get there and the front door, they got like the two glass doors or whatever. And all they had was like wood. There was like these wood planks that were over it, almost like there had been a hurricane or something, which I thought was strange because we haven't had any bad storms here. So it seemed quite odd to me. So apparently, it looked like from once I had to go around the side door, and once I got in the side door, like it looked like the front doors had been like punched in. So I guess someone drove their car in there or something. Maybe they had an accident. I would assume maybe they were drinking too much. They've definitely got a bar there, and there's like an outdoor seating area. So maybe that's why. But it looked like someone had like run their car in there. So probably drinking too much or something. Like another good example of why you shouldn't drink alcohol. It's pretty obvious. But I guess someone ran their car in there. So they had the front door. It's already a bad sign, right? The front door is all like paneled up. So we go in there and we sit down. And just as soon as I sat down, like I'm just looking around, like trying to be normal. Like I'm just trying to be a normal person. I'm just going out with my girlfriend. We're getting a bite to eat, right? So you walk in, it's a sports bar. Essentially, it's kind of like a sports bar. So you walk in, they got the big bar area where everyone is sitting there, and it's full, of course, right? Saturday night, so it's kind of packed out. Everyone's sitting there just like mowing down alcohol. Uh, the girls, so it's terrible, right? So they're literally like people are just sitting there drinking poison, and companies are making money selling you the poison, and the government's making tax money off of it. So everyone's happy, right? Everyone's getting money, and the people are getting inebriated. They're getting loose and more sinful, so they're happy. So they're sitting down there just mowing down the alcohol, and you know how it is when people drink, right? They get a little loud and boisterous, things like that. So you got that going on. So that's the first thing I see. And then it's Saturday night. People are drinking. It's like a club atmosphere. So, you know, you try. You're not looking right. You have to have good eye discipline. You have to, especially in this world, because sex sells, right? Right? Sin is everywhere, and sex sells, and everyone loves it, and it's built into the culture and the music and music videos and movies and everything, right? So you're social media, so you're programmed to get everything skin tight. You're programmed to get everything hiked up. You want to get as much skin out there as possible, to kind of promote yourself as a sexual object, to get the guy or girl that you want, because we're programmed to like that, right? This place, it's designed, right? It's full of sin. It's full of tests and sin and things like that. And it's been run until fairly recently. It's a fallen world, right? So sin is everywhere, and sin has been winning for quite some time here. So when I walk in, like I'm, good eye discipline, of course, I got that figured out, but it doesn't matter, right? Because you've got the peripherals. I mean, you can still see, even though you're not like looking, you can still see. So everyone's drinking, girls walking around in basically nothing, right? Mini skirts, just, a few inches off their middle areas. Everything's skin tight, top, bottom, everywhere. So everyone's just prancing around. And I'll get to a video here in a minute. It kind of puts it all into perspective. But, yeah, so I felt totally awkward. I felt like, almost like an alien, which I'm not. I'm Christ. So we've already explained that. But it feels alien to me, right? Because I'm like, just sitting in here, everyone's mowing down alcohol, they're sinning, people are outside, they're smoking cigarettes, just puffing all over the place, giving themselves cancer. And, we know it causes cancer, and we still do it. I smoked for many years of my life, so, it is what it is. I understand. Everyone in this world is kind of like blinded. They got their little blinders on, and all they can see is sin, and that's kind of the way you're directed. It's the way you're tunneled into it, right? You're tunneled into sin. So yeah, so girls are wearing almost nothing. They're prancing around, they're giving side glances to everyone. They're trying to look pretty, and their vanity is just out of control, and they're trying to get a man, I guess, or whatever, or be the center of attention. Their pride is at a 10. So that's going on. People are drinking and getting boisterous and drinking alcohol. And guess what? All these people that drink alcohol, how do you think they got there? Do you think they walked to the bar? No. Hopefully they Ubered, or someone else is the DD. But a lot of the times the DD is just the person that is the least drunk. So who knows? I hope they got home safely. But yeah, they're drinking alcohol, so they could have a DUI. They're going to make bad decisions because their inhibitions are lowered. And alcohol just literally brings out that little bad side that's in you, the bad portion of you, your little goblin or whatever. It just brings that out. So you got all that going on. They're wearing almost nothing. They're prancing around, everything's skin tight, sky high. You got that going on. And there's nothing all around, it's nothing but sports, right? So you're there, it's like basically, it's all like hedonistic pleasures, right? I watch sports with my brother just because that's what he's into. He likes sports, and we can kind of connect and talk about that. So, and he's disabled, so he spends a lot of time watching sports, unfortunately. But, there's sports on. Everyone's worried about entertainment. They're worried about alcohol. They're eating a lot of food. And not only that, like, think about for me, right? I'm having a vegan pizza, but this isn't a vegan restaurant. I was probably one of the only ones in there having a vegan meal, but I don't know that to be sure. But, so they're in there. You've got all these murdered animals, all varieties, right? All these murdered innocent animals are being like eaten by people. They're just eating the animals. They're drinking the alcohol. They're watching sports. They love entertainment. It's like everything that's wrong with this place. Not everything, but it's a lot of things wrong with this place, all in one area. And everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. They're smiling. They're enjoying it. They're watching their sports, which people spend billions of dollars on every year, right? And they waste how many hours of your life sitting around watching sports when you could be out like helping people or doing things. And not that I have a problem with sports. I think for the kids, I think it's great. And some people get a ride to college where maybe they wouldn't have otherwise gone, to that particular college or college in general. Who knows, right? It's different for every person. But I think sports from that degree is great. It keeps kids active. Drew, my son, he played sports, soccer, since I think he was like 4 or 5 years old. He played sports all the way through up into college, and he did like intramural sports there. So it kept him around like people who were physically active, so they weren't as much into the drug scene and the alcohol scene. Of course, some of the kids did it, but it wasn't it wasn't bad, right? It wasn't like people who didn't play sports at all who could sit around and just do tons of drugs and they didn't matter because they didn't have to run or jog anywhere. So I think it was overall it was very good for him. Kept him around a pretty good group of kids. But it gets to a level, right? Kids sports are good, keeps them active, things like that. But some parents go crazy into it, way over the top. Like literally, school goes to the side, right? Literally, sports take over, and sports is like an idol in their life, and all they're worried about is getting to the NBA or the NFL or the English Premier League or whatever, right? Whatever sport it is, they're worried about getting there. And why do they want to get there? For fame. Oh, sorry. For fame and money. No one wants to get into those sports and make it to that elite level for anything other. They don't want to just go there just to play because they love the game, right? Little kids love the game. They love to play. Some of them, most of them, I guess. But when you get to that level, like the professional level, no one's trying to get to the NBA, the NFL, the EPL, whatever. No one's trying to get there without thinking about that money. They want the money. They want the fame. They want to be on the stadium looking around. They want everyone looking at them. They want the TV commercials. They want the endorsements. They want it for the wrong reasons. It's not love of the game at that point. Like when you were a kid, you were smiling ear to ear and you were playing and you got a goal or a basket or a touchdown or whatever. And your parents, are cheering for you and everyone's happy for you. It's not that. When you get to like that professional level, it's about the money. It's about the fame. It's unhealthy, right? Creates vanity in you. It's obviously going to create pride. And not only that, people are wasting so much of their lives doing it. I know some people that literally they can sit there and tell you like every sports figure of every professional player, their batting, their touchdowns, whatever the sport is, they can tell you everything about it, but yet they can't tell you anything about God. They don't know anything about that. They don't know what's going on with their family because they're too busy, sitting around watching football or baseball or soccer or whatever sports you want to pick. It's unhealthy. They literally made sports an idol in their life, and some people focus so much on sports. Everything they talk about is about sports, and that's all they do. Even when they go to like these restaurants like I did, they'll be sitting there with their family, and they'll be watching sports. So like they're sitting here with their family and everything, but they're just sitting here watching sports. Instead of like having a conversation with their family, they're just watching sports. And my dad was like that. Like towards the end of his life, all he did was sit on a couch basically and just watch sports. It wasn't all he did. I mean, it was later in his life, when he wasn't as ambulatory as he used to be, but it was an idol in his life. He could tell you everything about sports. He probably didn't know so much what I was into, but he could tell you about any like sports player you want to talk about. Like he knew all the stats and figures and everything, and I know so many people like that. They make sports an idol in their life, and they're like, oh, this is so important. Actually, no, it's not. Sports is not important at all. Like professional sports, it's not important. It's entertainment, right? You watch it because it's entertainment. That's it. And the professionals are in it for the money and the fame. It's not like at that level when you're competing like that and you're doing all these workouts and everything, like you don't go through that kind of pain for nothing. You want the attention. You want to be, you want to be out there in front of that stadium with everyone yelling and cheering, and you want the men running after you and the women, You want to be famous. You want to be rich. You want the money, right? Why else would you go through the pain of all those practices and everything else? And it's not like you're trying to get into college or you're trying to get onto a travel team. It's different because at that level, you've made it. You made it, and you make millions of dollars, or who knows how much you make. I don't know. Lots of millions of dollars, right? So you're famous. All men and women, they want to be with you. You have your choice of partners. You've got it all, right? Your vanity is out of control. Your pride is out of control. And you play a sport that people sit around and waste a good chunk of their life watching. So you help other people make sports an idol in their life. So it's unhealthy. If the people spent, can you imagine if all the money spent on professional sports went into supporting their local communities, or the time that they spend watching those sports instead was out at like a soup kitchen or in any type of organization, right? Helping people that need help. Every city in the United States and in the world, probably, we'll just focus on the US, that's where I am currently. But every city would be fixed if you took all the money that was in professional sports in that town, or even a good chunk of it. Maybe not all of it, right? I'm not saying you can't have sports, but I'm just saying it's unhealthy. If you took all that money and all the time that people in that city spent watching those sports, or at least a large portion of it, and put that into fixing the city they're in, you probably wouldn't have any homeless people or any people struggling or anything like that. It would be a completely different city because you'd be reallocating all the sports and all that time into doing God's work, into helping God's children, instead of watching people play a sport where they make tons and tons of money and they get the fame, they get the men and the women, whatever they want. They get the commercials, they get the idol worship of people that want to run around and get their autograph, right? For what? Because they made it, because they're rich, they're famous. And that's what we're here for, right? We're here to be famous. We're here to make money and be rich and have like motorcycles and Sea-Doos and RVs and mansions. Like, that's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. No, that's not why you're here. You got caught in the trap, right? You got caught in the trap of luxury items and having fun and doing whatever you want, when it's a choice, right? We can be here and we can be selfish, which is easy, right? That's the trap. It's easy to be selfish and be like self-centered and looking out for yourself and your close circle of people. Or you can be here and serve people, animals, planets. Pick it, find something you like. But that's it. You've got a choice. You can be selfish or you can choose to serve. Those are the choices you have here. One is sinful, right? And the other does God's work. You can be God's hands and feet. But I don't want to get off on a tangent just on that piece. So just understand, like, that's how uncomfortable I felt. And all I did is just try to go out to eat. I just wanted to go out and have a meal. Haven't done it in a while. So I was like, we'll go out to eat. And I'm sitting around. I see the alcohol. I see the boisterous activity, right? I know they're going to be driving later, so potential DUIs. The girls and guys, everyone's dressed up in a way to like bring attention to themselves. The guys, let's say like the tight shirts and stuff like that. I don't want to pick on the women, but the guys, tight shirts and everything, and the luxury items, right? The jewelry, the chain, the super nice watches, like all of it. It's designed, you look like this world. You look like this world. And this world is full of sin, right? So you have a choice. Like, while you're here in this place, you have a choice. You can serve others or you can serve yourself. That's the choice you have. And that's the decision you're going to have to make. And that's going to determine where you end up, where the next leg of your journey is going to be, right? Service to others, service to yourself. That's the choice you have to make. And like I said, the decisions you make will then create results that branch out and interact with other choices you make, and that's how the system works. So, yeah, felt really odd to me, out of place. And then thankfully they have cardboard boxes, so I didn't feel as bad instead of getting like styrofoam and things like that. But yeah, just bad all around. The only positive thing that I can think of, people get to relax a little bit, maybe if they have a stressful day or life. A little bit of release there. And people have jobs, so that's good. People need income, some way to earn money. So that's good. But yeah, let's jump over here. So I found this video and I thought I would go over it. I almost don't want to put it in with this video because this might run a little too long, but hey, it's Sunday, why not, right? So let me bring it over here. All right, so I'll pick on Hooters. Just because they're so over the top. And there's other places like this, right? They sell sex, they sell women. It's basically a strip club where they also sell murdered animals. So You can go to the strip club with your family. You can take your kids to this place. If if you're that kind of parent, yeah, go ahead, take your kids to this place. And while you're at it, take your wife. She'll love it. I don't know how. Like, if you take your wife to this kind of establishment and you're not divorced, I don't know what's going on. Like, but I've seen it because, like I said, my son used to play soccer, and the parents, they used to go out to places like this because when we were traveling for soccer, it was interesting. This is back when I was drinking too. So it's interesting, like when you go out to these little soccer travel things, like you go to the hotels, right? And the kids run around, they're having fun, and the parents, while the kids are running around, the parents will be like, they're having their drinks, you know, they're having a good time, they're getting wild while the kids are running around, and then you kind of wake up hungover, some of us, and then you go to the game the next morning, right? And you're like, ah! You're screaming for the kids as they run around, and it's an environment, it's a thing. But I've been to places like this, and I've done it while we were doing travel soccer. And you will have like the husband and wife go with their kids, and we will literally take the entire soccer team. We have gone into places like this, probably Hooters. I'm pretty sure we've been to Hooters actually. And you'll have the husbands and wives in there with their kids. The kids, hey baby, what are you doing? The kids are running around in this place. Young kids, right? U12, U14, whatever. Baby, what are you doing? Come on. So you'll have the kids running around in these places, and they're watching this. So you're training the kids, and these are teenage boys, right? They're like looking around like this, right? You're training them to lust after women, and you're also training them that it's okay for women to dress like this. This is the expectation. This is what's acceptable in this society. Can you imagine? So you're taking your wife and your kids to a strip club where they sell murdered animals, right? Everything about this is wrong. All of it. It is lust for sale. In this video, I watched it just quickly one time just to kind of get a feel for it. So it'll almost be like I'm watching it for the first time. Well, let's check this out. This is like Undercover Boss. So essentially, I guess the premise of this is like the boss, the CEO or whatever, comes in, and but he acts like a normal employee or whatever, and then like does the job, or I guess does the job for a while, and then eventually turns the tables on the boss that he's undercover watching or whatever, and then says, "Hey, I'm the CEO, and I don't appreciate the way you treated these people." So that's what the show is about. I've watched it a few times in the past, but I just found it on YouTube, so I figured I'd pop it in here. Because I went to the restaurant and I saw people were kind of dressed scantily. This is a more extreme example, but I've been to places like this, and I know that families go here with their wife and their kids, and you're showing them this is okay. But this is actually interesting because the CEO, I guess he's the CEO, he goes in undercover, and he's going to work with this manager here and see how they treat these women, which is like absolute trash. Treats them like garbage, like they are worthless prostitutes, essentially, is how this guy treats them. But like I said, I watched it one time quickly, just kind of skipping through, so this will almost be live. Let's give it a run. All right.
Knee, front and center. We're looking at the hair. Is it styled?
Okay, so already he's objectifying this girl. He's got her standing here wearing this outfit, which is absolutely over the top, 100%. You can see everything is accentuated. I don't need to talk about it. The top, the bottom, everything. This outfit is out of control. That outfit is designed to make you sin. It's designed to literally make you lust and then go home. And who knows what you're going to do when you go home in your private time. Who knows? But I'm sure, let your mind wander. So I think this is the, hold on. This is the CEO, right? This guy's undercover, and he's here watching this person here who has no idea that this guy is actually the CEO. So he's posing as like some employee, just some regular old employee. And he's here being trained by this fella here. And this guy, I guess, is the manager of this location. And this guy's here to see what's going on, but he's undercover. So this guy doesn't know. This guy right here doesn't know. And this poor girl works here, and she is being basically sold as a stripper to people to run around selling murdered chicken wings. So that's the environment. And then people are here getting drunk, right? They're getting drunk and they're sitting here staring at girls that are probably young enough to be their daughter or granddaughter, depending on how old they are. And then you're also going to have people's wives in here. They're going to have to sit there with their mouths shut, thinking, going along with this, like, oh, this is totally okay. This is acceptable, right? Oh, this is acceptable. I'm okay with my husband going in here with our kids and showing them that girls dressing up like this is okay, because it's 100% not okay. It's disgusting. So let's continue on.
Style to me. Okay, makeup, is it on?
Yes.
She looks.
Makeup, is it on? Like, your makeup should not be over the top. Like, vanity is a sin. Your whole life should not be designed around making sure you're beautiful and amazing. You're not actually your body. You're actually a spirit. You're a soul that happens to be in a human vessel. So you shouldn't be sitting around worried about like cosmetic surgery and I want to look beautiful and I want to look amazing. God sees what's inside, not really concerned so much with what's outside. Right? So if your inside is disgusting, but your outside looks amazing, that might help you here, but that doesn't do anything for you and your relationship with God. Because God sees how you are inside, your ethics, your spirit. So your spirit can be absolutely disgusting and nasty and shaped by this world, and that's what God sees. But you can be beautiful on the outside, and everyone here can think, oh, he or she is amazing, they're gorgeous, but their inside looks sick and nasty and ghoulish. There's a big difference.
Hollywood starlet.
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's
Hollywood
what we're looking
starlet.
for. All right, bet.
Hollywood starlet, that's what we're looking for. Look at this guy. Does this guy not seem like a total piece of work? Look at him. Just sitting here staring at this girl, right? Look at this. I don't even want to see this because people are going to lust. I'm sorry, I have to show it though. Like, look at this outfit. What is that outfit designed to do? It's not there to sell wings. It's there to make you lust. And then do, who knows, maybe you end up cheating on your wife. Your kids are going to have to see this. Your kids, you're training your kids. Let's say this guy's the dad, right? Looking just like that. Let's say you're the dad in there. You're having a couple beers after the baseball game with your kids. You're drinking alcohol, training your kids to drink alcohol. Then you get some chicken wings. You're teaching your kid that murdered animals are okay to eat. And then you're also teaching them that it's okay to do this. To ogle this poor girl, who's probably young enough to be his daughter. To ogle her and have sexual thoughts about her. Look at these eyes. Boom. This guy's looking down at the ground. You know why? He's embarrassed. This is his company. He's the CEO. And he's looking down at the ground because he feels ashamed because this dirtbag is over here eyeing her up like she's a piece of meat. Like she's basically a sex slave. That's how he's looking at her. And he's talking to her like she's a piece of garbage.
Have a seat. Okay. Call your next.
Have a seat. Okay. And she's going along with it because she's bought into it. She's okay with these worldly values, and she's like, oh, this is okay that this guy, twice my age, who's probably been sitting around drinking too many beers, maybe there's a little something going on there in the stomach area, but she's okay with it because she's used to it, because that's how men treat women here sometimes.
Raina? Is that right, Raina? Compliment.
See the styrofoam cup? So he's doing all this, he's insulting these girls, just making them feel like property. He's sitting here making these women feel like property. He's the store manager, so interesting. He's making them feel like property. He's sitting here drinking out of a styrofoam cup, destroying the planet. And these poor girls are just being broken down, and he's training them that they're worth whatever he's paying them, whatever it is an hour, plus whatever tips they can get for prancing around in their underwear.
On her lack of nails.
Lack of nails. Like I said, you're not supposed to be vain. You're not here to look beautiful, right? You should be here, and you got a choice, right? You can serve God, right, or serve others. However you want to look at it, you can serve others to help people, and the planet, and the animals, or you can serve yourself by living like this world, at least currently. Look at this guy.
Some non-glamour
Yeah, so don't worry about glamour and vanity and things like that. That's not why you're here.
nails you have. Have a seat.
Look how uncomfortable this guy looks. He's the CEO, undercover, and now he's seeing like this is how his shop is run. He's like, wow, I'm paying this guy to defile these girls and make them feel worthless, make them feel like sexual objects. This guy is basically pimping these girls out.
When I first came in this morning, Jimbo made it very clear that, you know, we are about the Hooters girl.
You know, nail polish is nice. Hey,
And the tattoos, yeah, God's not a fan of tattoos and big earrings that blow your earlobes out and stuff like that. Things that you can't like, yeah.
get another tattoo before tomorrow.
Interesting. This guy's batting 1,000, huh? Nice gold watch, luxury items. I wonder what he's looking at there with the eyes. His eye discipline is non-existent, and that's because he's a sinful piece of garbage. At least from what I can tell. Like, I don't see his heart, but from the way he's acting at this video, this guy is everything you don't want to be. Who knows what he's looking at there? And what did he tell her? Why don't you go get a tattoo? So why don't you sin? Why don't you go get a tattoo that upsets God? He's not a fan of that, of marking of the flesh and getting tattoos and things like that. It leads to pride, vanity, and you're also potentially putting something on your body you're going to regret later.
Okay, he was very clear on what the brand's about, but I don't think he's really.
Brand.
I don't think he's clear on how the brand should be treated.
And what's interesting is this guy's the CEO, and clearly he doesn't know what's going on in his business because he doesn't know this is going on. So it's odd that he is taken aback by it when it's his shop. But it's like he showed up and had no idea what was going on. So that's interesting. But yeah, so here he is, like seeing what's going on. Let's just keep rolling.
When the lunch rush is over, you don't need as many.
Oh, that's interesting. This guy came here with, I'll assume that's his wife. I don't know, maybe it's his sister, but who cares? Who cares? This female came with him. So she is saying it's okay for this, I'll assume it's a husband. So it's okay for my husband to come here and stare at girls and have lustful thoughts, right? About girls that are young enough to be his daughter or granddaughter. Very interesting, and she's okay with that. So there's some blame to go around here. Yeah, he's absolutely in the wrong. And guess what? So is she. Because she went along with it. She allowed it. She's accepting of this behavior. How does he justify it? Oh, well, I just love the burgers. I didn't notice that these girls are being treated like prostitutes or strippers. The only thing this place is missing is a stripper pole. That's it. It's literally a strip club where you can go get murdered animals. And she's okay with it. She's condoning it because she went with him.
Girls on the floor, so they start being cut. You know, you make less tips as the restaurant is less full, so a lot of girls prefer to get cut.
And then you make them work for, like I said, it's a strip club. And then you make them work for tips, right? The only difference here is there's no stripper pole, and you don't get to tuck it directly in their shorts. You get to put it on the table and watch them get it. Or you can hand it to them while you give them these nasty looks, right? And then I've been there, right? They're super flirtatious because they're trained that you're going to work off tips. That's why they only give them so much an hour, to make them basically hungry for those tips so that they'll be more outgoing, if you want to call it that. So they walk around, you know, so they're doing all that, trying to get tips, leaning over the table with these outfits that are 100% designed to make you lust. 100%. This is a den of iniquity. And people go to it and they take their wives and they take other family members and they take their children. So if you're going to an establishment like this, you have some serious questions to ask yourself as far as God is concerned.
All right, ladies, today, you want to go home? You want to leave early today? Cuts are going to be on games. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
What am I supposed to do about school if I have to leave?
You're going to play my reindeer games.
This guy. I, I won't say it. But she's worried about going to school, which is far more important than working at a strip club, right? Which is what this is. And he's like, no, you're going to play my reindeer games, whatever that means. So this guy is, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know him personally. He seems absolutely morally bankrupt. And you shouldn't have people like this in your life as friends, as co-workers, as anything. You shouldn't even work for an establishment like this. This is a den of sin. And people are making money off of it. And so is the government. And they're selling you poison. They're selling you animal products that are going to destroy your body. And they're selling you alcohol, which is also going to destroy your body. And they're selling you sin, which destroys your soul. So everything bad you could possibly get, you can get in one location. Right? A strip club where they sell murdered animals, and I guess you can get a salad there too. So maybe there's one good thing. You can get a salad there maybe. No one's going here for the salad. They're going here for the animals, and they're going here for exactly what's right over here. The essentially strippers that happen to sell food also.
You go to school?
Yes. Okay. All right, Scooter, come with me. Hey, so maybe we'll do a bean eating contest, all right? Maybe we'll get all the girls, we'll shove their faces down.
Hold on. Okay. So I guess she's either engaged or married. I'm not sure which that is. But imagine if you are the guy, right? So we'll assume she's married. So let's say her husband is okay with her going somewhere, working in this strip club where she happens to hand food out, and there's no pole. So that's good. There's no pole. But it's the same exact concept. So you're okay with your wife going to work at a strip club, and you condone that? You're okay with that? You know that guys 2 and 3 times her age are staring at her, thinking about her, doing who knows what once they get home. Maybe they don't even get home. Maybe when they get to their car, who knows? People are sick. So you know that, and it's constant. And you have regulars in these type of businesses. It's not just all one-offs, right? You have some regulars, and you can tell because they harass them even more. Oh, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, it's nasty. So you're okay with your wife going and working here in a strip club that happens to sell food, and know that guys are ogling her 24 hours a day while she's there, and she's being managed by a dirtbag. So it's not just her that's messing up, and she is. That's extremely sad face. Look at that. Absolutely sad. So she's part of that, and she thinks it's okay because that's the culture in this place currently. And you know what? He's to blame too because he's going along with it. Right? If your wife or fiance or girlfriend or whatever, family member, if they're working here and you don't tell them to quit, that's on you. So it's not just her. Some husband somewhere is okay with this and condoning it.
Do a bean eating contest, all right? Maybe we'll get all the girls, we'll shove their faces down in the beans and have them.
This guy. So they can see who gets cut first. I guess that's a restaurant thing. Especially because one girl has to go to school. He wants to have a bean eating contest where you stuff their face in the beans. So he wants to defile them even more than he already has. And basically strip away, I don't even want to say pride because pride is an issue, but just make them feel absolutely worthless. They're strippers. I mean, this guy treats them like prostitutes. Like, he's basically pimping them out. The only difference is the Johns can't actually have sex with them.
It up, you know,
Right.
suck her down, good times, all right?
Do they seem to like those kind of things?
Hey, no rules,
No rules.
okay?
No rules, yeah. That's how people like to live here. They want to think like, oh, whatever makes me feel good. There are no rules. Whatever I want to do is okay. That is not how this place is designed. It's designed in a way for spiritual growth, and you have free will. So you do have free will, but you can't just do whatever makes you feel good. That's not how it's designed. You can act like that, but there is a God, and God is benevolent, but you will also be tested. So you're given free will, but you do have to choose the narrow path. Because the further you get off the narrow path, the more you run into bad consequences. Stay on that narrow path, things that God is okay with, and you do that, you're going to be great. Golden, you have no issues. The further you get off that narrow path, the more trees you're going to run into. And sometimes you'll run into those trees with your face. So you definitely want to stay on the narrow path, right? And that's why God gives us guidance and rules and statutes and says, hey, you do this, you're going to be okay. You do this, you might face plant into a tree. So yeah, take the narrow path. Follow the way and you will be perfectly fine. You'll have a great existence and it will last forever. Not 10 years, not 100 years, not 1,000,000 years, not 1,000 billion years. It's even longer. It's forever, which is a strange concept if you actually sit down and think about, well, how long is forever? It's forever. It doesn't end. So it's not 1,000 billion years, whatever term that even is. It's even longer. It's forever. So you want to get on that narrow path as quickly as you can so that forever is amazing. Because like I said, if you get off that narrow path, you're going to start smacking trees. And if you go far enough off that path, you're going to start smacking those trees with your face. And it's not pleasant. So just come back in and get on the narrow path. You're going to be much happier. Don't end up like this guy.
Girls are spoiled, man. So they're all prima donnas. All right?
Okay. If you want to play some games, there's other games you can play. It's disheartening.
Are you serious? No. Oh. No.
That's a heart attack.
That is not funny. It's not okay.
The
No,
first girl
it's
that
not.
finishes her plate of beans will go home. You cannot use your hands, okay? So, go! Oh, get some of that. Come on, girl.
It's disgusting. And this guy's sitting back there having a great time, treating these women like garbage, basically prostituting them out to men and women who are sinful enough to go into these locations and be okay with it. And then you have girls like this getting treated like this. And what does this do to a girl mentally? When you let her get rained over by some dirtbag like this, and you have them stuffing their face into beans to see who gets to go home early.
Who wants to go home? Oh, look. Ooh, doggy. Brianna, how...
And here's the CEO, who this other dirtbag doesn't know it, but he's sitting here watching. This is his company. Now, he's the CEO. This guy's probably living good, right? He's got millions in the bank. He's got a nice 401k. Who knows how big his house is? I bet it's ginormous. I bet it's way more than he needs, right? It's way more than he needs. How many cars does he have? How many boats does he have? ATVs, things like that. And he's making money off this guy who's treating these women like absolute garbage.
there, baby? Oh, they look tasty. Who doesn't want to spend the rest of the afternoon with me?
Me.
It's hard for me on this one to bite my tongue. If I could break cover, I would sit down and have a very long, serious talk with Jimbo.
Serious talk.
Yeah.
The things I saw today were inappropriate. They were wrong.
Inappropriate? Bro, you're the CEO. Inappropriate? That's when you break cover immediately. And you grab that guy by his hair and you throw him through the front door as politely as you can. I'm amazed that this guy stayed in cover after seeing this was going on. Like, how? Why? Because he doesn't want to mess up the show that he agreed to be on, right? The show, because it's some kind of like reality show or whatever, where he's going to get even more famous. Because, yeah, he's got money. And I'm sure in his town, I'm sure he's famous to some degree, but by being on this show, he's going to get more famous. People are going to know his face. He's going to get more fame, more money, more commercials, whatever. He can buy more stuff that he doesn't need. He can get a house even bigger. You know, his 401k, he can sit there and just stare at it and see how much money and zeros he has on it. So how he didn't break cover at this point is beyond me. Because I would have been like, I don't care about your show. I'm grabbing this guy by his hair. I'm going to throw him through the front door, and then I'm going to shut the place down. Because I'm not going to make money off sin, which is all this guy is doing. So he seems like a nice guy. The CEO seems like a nice person, but at the end of the day, is he nice? This isn't the only shop that this is happening at. And even if they're nice to him, even if you're like, oh, you're wonderful and you're amazing to them, you've got them dressing like strippers. So the guys can come in and ogle them with their wife and their kids. So you're setting a precedent that this kind of garbage is okay.
I don't want any part of it.
None.
It's time for me to speak with Jimbo, and I'm not really looking forward to it.
Jimbo, you're fired.
Scotty, what's going on, buddy?
Jimbo? I am not Scotty.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Time to drop the
I'm
hammer.
Kobe Brooks, the president and CEO of Hooters of America.
Uh-oh.
Jimbo, the way that you interact with the girls, quite frankly, is inappropriate.
It's a lot more than inappropriate. It's way more than that. You shouldn't even have a business like this, Kobe.
You're no better than they are, and you're not giving them the respect that they need.
You're not giving them the respect that they need. So this is the CEO in this show who's supposed to be a nice person, right? Telling this gentleman here how much of a piece of garbage he is. But at the same time, he's making money off of this business where, guess what? He decided that outfit, as they call it, sorry. I think they call it legally to get around the strip club laws. I think they call it a costume. So these people are in character. So this is like the Disney World for strippers, essentially, because they're in a costume. So he got this costume approved so that they can make people sin every single day and get treated like garbage while this guy makes millions of dollars. And he's the good guy in this series, right? He's the good guy. He's coming in and like, oh, I don't like the way you're treating these women. Really? How about how you're dressing these women in their costume so they can prance around in your strip club that happens to not have a strip club pole, right? Where they can have dollars that aren't tucked in, they're just dropped on the table.
Don't forget, all these girls are prima donnas.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that your entire staff is made up of completely prima donnas.
Okay.
I don't know about that whole term, but your whole staff is full of girls that would be okay prancing around in their underwear for cash. I know they were led astray by this world, right? That keeps them, they got the blinders on and all they can see is the sinful path. I get it. But at the end of the day, there's blame to go around for everyone, and they're choosing to go through this, and they're choosing to put up with it. So, you vote with your feet. And these girls, their feet took them to this location to apply for a job, and they're the ones putting on the costume and going in there. So when they get tired of causing people to sin and sinning themselves by doing it, they'll quit.
Stereotyping your whole cast of girls.
See how I use the term cast? That's how they get around the laws, I think. I heard about that one time. Like, that's not an outfit, right? If legally you couldn't have someone dressed like that because you can't tell them what they're supposed to wear because those outfits don't fit. They clearly don't fit. That's why everything up here is bursting out and everything in the bottom is bursting out. He gets away with it. The good guy CEO here, he gets away with it because he calls it a costume. Buddy, that's not Disney World. Not that I agree with Disney World either, but yeah, that's not a theme park. That's a strip club where you happen to sell food. So you can't call them casts. No one's making a movie here, right? No, it's a strip club.
There's lines that you don't cross.
100% there are lines you don't cross. This guy's crossing it. The CEO's crossing it. The girls are crossing it. The patrons are crossing it. Everyone involved in this whole industry is crossing lines with God. But they don't realize it because the longer you're in this place, the more normal it seems. And you stop to see sin. You don't see it anymore because you're used to it. Right? You're just used to seeing it, so it becomes normal. There's nothing normal about this industry or this place. Right? There's nothing normal about here. God would not be happy to live here because this place is full of sin. So, obviously things that have to get fixed, but this is just a really bad example.
Apology to your staff is necessary in this situation. You do that for me when you go back?
If I'm too competitive and if I'm too harsh, man, it works. Shame on me if
No, it doesn't work, and shame on you.
bad thing of being uber competitive. And I do have a track record of building sales and
You can build profit.
Sales and profit, right? This guy acts like a scumbag, and he's okay with it because he makes money from this other guy who's pretending to be the good guy, even though he created this business where you objectify women and sell them as sexual objects. So this guy is the ultimate pimp, pretending to be the good person, and the other guy is just a scumbag who's, he's more of like the local level, but he's still a scumbag, promoting all this sin. This guy here is the CEO pretending to be a good guy, but at the end of the day, he created this industry. So he's put up strip clubs around the United States, maybe the world, who knows. But he's got strip clubs set up where people come in and lust is for sale and alcohol is for sale. And who knows how many DUIs this guy has caused. How many people have been killed or killed other people or maimed them or put in a hospital because they're in there staring at girls they shouldn't be staring at, thinking things they shouldn't be thinking, and drinking alcohol they shouldn't be drinking. And then they go out and they drive around and they end up killing people. So he pretends to be the good guy while he's selling alcohol, selling sin, lust, vanity, like any sin you can possibly imagine, pride, everything is in this business. Everything about it is wrong. And it's socially acceptable because there's no law against it, because we're okay with it, and we don't tell our politicians that that we're not okay with places like this being in existence. And the only reason there's no law against it is because, at least in the US, right, it's considered a democracy. And we don't ask for it to our politicians, so they don't do it. So it lets people like this make tons and tons of money making other people sin, creating sin, defiling women, and it's okay. And he doesn't care. And it's probably a publicly traded company, so who knows? Maybe this is in your 401k, so everyone gets wrapped into the system where it's about the money. This guy's just worried about the money. He doesn't care about the sin. He's like, oh, I'm okay if the cast wears their costumes, which he's totally okay with. Even though he's pretending to be the good guy, he's okay with it, and he's making tons of money. So he's popped up at his pool, at his house, at his mega mansion with all his vehicles and everything, and he's making money off all this sin. And he sits around and pretends to be the good guy.
You want. That's not what I want. It's all about being respectful.
Are you kidding? All about being respectful? Have you walked into a Hooters? Right? Go ask your pastor how respectful Hooters is, or any establishment like this. He's got a socially acceptable strip club set up. That's what it is. He might as well go ahead and just put the stripper pole right in the middle and at least be honest about it.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it is the bottom line. So that's it. This probably drug on a little bit too long, so sorry about that. But that's the Sunday sermon. Got to get ready. Going to go to church here in a little bit. But that's it. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday. Don't ever go to an establishment like this. It does not make God happy. It's not going to help you on your journey. So don't be on the wrong path. Don't be on the wide path. You want to get back on the narrow path that is in the good graces of God, because that is going to lead to an amazing eternity. And that is not 100 billion years. It's even longer. So if you want that amazing eternity forever, get back on the narrow path. Don't be like these people. Just listen. That's it. It can be amazing. This place can be amazing. It's going to take a little time, but once we get everybody back on the path globally, trust me, we'll create heaven on earth, or as close as we can get it. That way we don't have to wait. That's it. Have a wonderful Sunday. Just remember, God loves you, wants to provide guidance so that we can all get back on the narrow path and have a wonderful, amazing time. But that's it. See ya.